Hello and welcome to this Qigong for Healthy Digestion workshop. And we're going to go about 30 minutes today. I want to keep it fairly succinct. And so we're going to jump right in. So welcome. And one of the biggest things that we can do when either we're trying to eat healthier, maybe lose some weight, or you've taken some weight off and want to keep it off, one of the biggest things we can do is to not judge ourselves and not to judge our bodies. And I know that's a lot easier said than done, but I invite you to really try to love yourself the way you are. And if you want to make some changes, then do them with compassion, with loving kindness, and hopefully with a beautiful practice like the one we're going to do today. So in Chinese medicine, digestion is connected to the earth element, our connection with the earth. And also with the earth element, that is associated in Chinese medicine with our spleen, our stomach, and our pancreas, all on our left side here. And so we are going to do some movements focusing on the earth element and movements and flows that contribute to our stomach, our spleen, our pancreas, and to our overall digestive health. One of the best things that can help us with healthy digestion as well is breathing, proper breathing. When we can breathe properly and healthfully, we are less stressed. How many of us stress eat? So let's start with focusing on the breath. Let's place our hands over our bellies, and we want to breathe in and out through the nose. So as we inhale, the belly expands. As we exhale, the belly softens back towards the spine. So inhale, expand your belly into your hands. Exhale, belly softens back towards the spine. Do a few more of those. Beautiful. Now we're going to change that up a bit. Bring your hands to your sides so that your thumb is at your back, fingers at the front, just under your floating ribs. So this is called your chi belt. So now we're going to do chi belt breathing, bringing the breath down here to the diaphragm. So when you inhale, press the feel the belly expand out into the hands. As you exhale, feel the belly soften and press in with your hands a little bit. So inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Release that. Now I'm going to explain the next breath we're going to do. It's a fairly dynamic breath, and it's called fan the fire. For my yogis out there, you might be familiar with what's it called? I think it's called breath of fire in yoga, but this is called in this qigong practice. It's called actually in qigong it's called fan the fire. I think it's called breath of fire in yoga. I got that backwards. Anyway, so actually name doesn't really matter. Fan the fire. So this fan the fire breath gets our metabolism really ramped up. So it's a breath. I'm going to specify this. Do not do this breath if you've just eaten. It might be very uncomfortable, but it's a beautiful breath to do before you eat. It really ramps up your digestion, your metabolism, and our hands are over our bellies again. So I'm going to explain this as in we inhale through the nose, expand the belly, and then we mouth exhale with like really blowing out the breath with some force. So so we inhale, forcefully exhale, and the belly goes back towards the spine on the exhale. And I invite you to play with this. So I'm going to do this fairly dynamically. You play with what works for you. So one more. Beautiful. Now take a moment. You may have really felt the energy rise up to your head. That's absolutely fine. Really ramps up your metabolism. Really, we're bringing that breath in here. We're really, all our digestive organs here. So we're getting a lot of activation going on here with this breath. Beautiful. Now just take a moment and we're going to continue to breathe from the belly here, nice and slow. So we ramp up the metabolism with that breath of fire. You probably really felt it. And then now what we're doing is we're bringing the energy calmer back down here. We've got all this beautiful energy running. Now we're going to start some little bit of movement. So I'm going to step back here a little bit and invite you to bring your hands around in front. So we're going to do the breath with this one. So inhale up, palms face up, exhale down. Now we're continuing through the nose here. I'm doing it fairly slow. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time. We're going to hold this one up here. Inhale up. Beautiful. Now with your right hand up, bring your left hand down. We're going to change this up a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to do a turn. And what we're doing is when we do turns and keeping our legs fully planted, your feet fully planted on the floor, we're turning from our core, our hips and our waist. We're going to take this right hand, bring it across. The left hand comes out behind you. So your palms are pressing away from each other. Keep your feet, weight firmly planted. You want soft knees as we turn. So here's what we're doing. We're twisting. You know how you twist out a dish rag? You're twisting out the water or the dirty water. We're twisting out. When we do this, we're twisting out the old energy. So we come back to center, bit of a bend in the knees. This time, left hand comes across the face, right hand comes behind. So we inhale to center, exhale, twist. We're twisting out that old energy in our digestive organs. We're bringing in fresh chi, fresh energy. Let's do a couple more, just one to each side. Come back, one more to the right. Then we're going to come back to center. We're going to pause here. Now we're going to go into knocking on the door of life. What this does is it helps us, we're going to be knocking on the body, so we're going to activate our organs here. So keeping your feet firmly planted on the floor here again, soft knees. We're turning from the hips and the waist. I do specify that a lot because we want to be gentle with our knees. So just relax your arms, give them a little shake to the side. So our arms are going to be pretty loosey-goosey here. We're turning from the hips and the waist. Let your arms swing. What we're doing is we're knocking across the back and the front of the body. So as our arm knocks across our front, our ribs, we're activating all of our digestive organs. So mentioned before, on the left, you've got your spleen, your stomach, your pancreas. In the center, we've got our large and small intestine. On the right side, you've got your liver and your gallbladder. This is a beautiful activation for all these organs. And then we're going to slow this down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Beautiful. Awesome. Take a moment here and notice how you feel. Awesome. So now we are going to take a little bit wider stance. Turn your toes out a bit if you want. And if you're sitting doing this, then obviously just open your legs a little bit more. And because you can do this whole practice seated, we're going to bring our arms up. And this is called the tiger. So let's have a little bit of tiger claws here. Might as well have fun with this. So with the tiger, imagine we're connecting with the earth, that earth energy again, connecting with our digestive organs. So we're coming down, and it's like we're sending old energy down to the earth for composting. So I want to stress here, honoring your body. So if you come down this far, that's fine. And you know what? If you're like, I can't even come down that far, that is 100% fine. With this practice, you do it how it works for your body. You can be like, okay, that's what I'm doing. Or you can come a little further with me. And what we're doing, we're coming up, we mouth exhale, purge as we're coming down towards the floor. So it's like, we're opening up the hips. And this is really good for digestion. It's good for your large and small intestine. And if you can come down all the way towards the floor like this, come down a little lower, do that. But do what works for you. Strengthens the legs, opens the hips. This is also great for releasing some stress. One more. Come back up. Beautiful. And if you've got really good leg strength and it doesn't bother your knees or any part of your body, another part of the tiger is, that was the tiger. There's also tiger sits in the grass. If you want, you can come right down and squat. You know, in a lot of Eastern cultures, they spend a lot of time in a squat position. They eat in the squat, they'll play cards, as my teacher Lee says when he was over in China. You see people doing all kinds of things in squats. So now we're going to come back in, completely change our leg stance. So now for this one, we want to bring our legs together, or at least fairly close together, whatever your comfort level is today. So now we're going to go into swimming dragon. This really helps to pump and squeeze the digestive system. So we're going to bring our hands together in front of the heart, legs together, bend in the knees. And here's what we're going to do. Palms pressed together in front of the heart. And again, if you're sitting, you can do this sitting, just do the upper body portion. So press your hands to one side. You'll see your hips are going this way and your head looks this way too. So pressing your hands over to the right, your head and your hips are going left. And then bring your hands back through the center. We're going to come right over to the left with the hands. Hips are going to the right, head looks to the right. So we're going back and forth. This pumps and squeezes the digestive organs. So we're coming across through the heart center here. And then we're going to point the fingers out, bring them down a little lower, roughly in front of your solar plexus. So we're going back and forth. And it doesn't matter if you're not on the same side as me, if you're doing it slightly different. Beautiful. We're coming back and forth through center. Now our fingers are going to face down. Fingers are pointing down. We're coming back and forth here. Beautiful. Then we're going to come up. Fingers point forward. We're coming back up. So roughly in front of the solar plexus, just below the chest height, back and forth. Then we're going to bring our hands face up again. Fingers point up. And let's pause here. And now we get to go into another section of swimming dragon. Here we go. We're moving from the hips and the waist. Feet are staying planted. We're swimming our dragon from side to side. And you get to make this your own. So now we're coming up a little higher. Coming up. And then we're going to come all the way up above the head. Let's pause here. Reach up with the hands. Then come back down to chest. Beautiful. Pausing at the heart center. Release the hands down. Bring your legs back into that shoulder width stance. And now we're going to go into shaking. So you can keep your feet, you can keep your heels on the floor or bring them off, whatever works for you. And just really go loose in the elbows, shoulders, bounce into your legs a little bit. And we're going to do a specific breath for this one. When we inhale through the nose, we're then going to mouth exhale and just like you're letting out a big sigh. Wonderful. This is a great way to release stress. Any time of the day that you're having, a stressful moment, you could do this. Maybe if you're standing in line at Starbucks, you maybe don't want to do this if you're waiting too long for your coffee or whatever. But, you can always, maybe you can go into the bathroom and do this or whatever if you're around other people, and just take a moment and do this. One more. Beautiful. Slow it down. Take a moment. And I really want you to take a moment here and check in and notice how you feel. You might feel some buzzing and tingling in your hands. That's your chi, your life force energy moving in your body. Beautiful. I'm going to come a little closer. So now we're going to go into some flowing movements. And the flowing movements help us tonify and strengthen our chi, our life force energy. And specifically, we're going to do some flows that strengthen the digestive chi of our spleen. So the first one we're going to do is called Earth Revolves Around the Sun. And it's nice and simple and gentle. So we turn our torso out towards the left just a little bit, and you send your hands out like this. It's like, just like, imagine like you were very gently flicking a cloth or a towel, and you're just, maybe you've been at the beach and there's sand on your towel. Well, yeah, you're probably going to flick it hard. Well, pretend it's like, I don't know, like it's like a gossamer towel, and you're just like, okay, just like this. And so we go out, do this, and then we're going to circle. You circle your hands around, and then you bring your hands back in front of your belly. So we turn out, flick the hands gently, come back. So we're bringing this digestive energy into the belly. Turning from your hips and your waist. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to reverse directions. Bringing that back in. Beautiful. Now we're going to go in the other direction. So flick your towel to this side. Flick, come around. And you want softness in the hands, and you want to keep your weight center. So we're flicking, we're circling around, keeping the weight firmly planted in the feet, in the heels, full foot on the floor. What we don't want to be doing, and I'll show you the wrong way, what we don't want to be doing, we're not bending over to do this. We're staying fairly upright. You flick, circle. Beautiful. One more. Bring that back in. Beautiful. And just rest your hands here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then we're going to release that down. Beautiful. I'm going to step back a little bit for this one. Not that you need to see my feet, but we're going to go into a movement called pebble in the pond. So our hands face down. And so this movement is also for the earth element. And here we go. So we bend the knees a little bit, hinge at the hips. Again, only if you're standing. If you're sitting, you take the legs out. And so we float the hands out. We circle them around. And we come back in towards the belly. So the palms face down, hinging just back a little bit at the hips. Maybe you're going to sit in a high stool kind of action and bend through the knees. So we float the hands out and we come back in. So let's exhale and inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more. Beautiful. Pausing here. Let's place our hands over our bellies now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start to make circles over the belly. It doesn't matter which direction you go in. We're going to do both. And what we're doing is we are condensing and spreading the energy that we've cultivated by doing this practice into all the digestive organs. Stirring it in here. Now let's go the other way. Pause and circle in the opposite direction. And then we're going to bring our hands to stillness, back over our belly, just below our navel. Our hands here. And just take a moment to breathe and to acknowledge the great work, the great play with qi, your life force energy that you've just done for your digestive system. Now I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to show you an acupuncture point that is really good for digestion. So I'm going to grab my chair so I can show you because it's on the leg. And so here we are. I'm actually going to get rid of that pillow. And so here we are. And I was going to wear baggy pants and I purposely didn't because I thought you're wearing whatever you're wearing. So you don't need to actually see your physical bare leg to do this. We're going to do an acupressure point. I'm going to show you an acupressure point called stomach 36. So stomach, good for your stomach. So it's on. So what I want you to do is, first of all, find your shin bone. Run your hand up and down the front of your leg. That's your shin bone. So now come up to where your shin bone feels like, okay, that's the bottom of my knee or my kneecap. And what I want you to do, take your finger and start running it down the shin bone. And, it's got some bumps. And when you find that first dip in the shin bone, just pause there. And another way to find it too is to take your hand and find the bottom of your kneecap. You might be like, okay, there it is there. Find the bottom of your kneecap. And then with another finger, press here on your shin bone and you find, okay, there's a spot where there's a bit of a dip, your first dip right below those 4 fingers. And then what we do, we come to the outside of the shin bone, right beside that. Find that soft spot off the bone, soft spot, and press in there. And what we're doing, pressing in there and wiggling, because that is your stomach 36 point. So pressing and wiggling on this point, acupuncture point, really good for digestion. If you've ever gone to an acupuncturist for digestive issues, they have likely put a needle in this spot, but you get to do it yourself. So pressing in with your finger and then wiggling. And if you're not sure if you're on the right spot, one thing that really helps is this is often tender for a lot of us. And you can kind of move your hand up and down. If you're not sure, just, okay, where's that spot? Find your shin, find your shin bone below your knee. And it's like, okay, running my finger down. Okay, that feels like the first dip in my bone right there. Just out. So we're outside the bone. We're just outside the lateral aspect of the bone in the soft muscle tissue there. Well, maybe it's not soft muscle. Maybe you've got really hard muscle there, but it's softer than the bone. So pressing, circling, wiggling, going the other way. And another thing, like if you're like, I'm not sure I'm on the right spot, you could take your thumb and just run it down. Just run it down a few inches, going. And you know what? You're going to feel it. Beautiful. And then after you're done that, you can do the exact same thing on the other leg. Find the dip in your shin bone that's about 4 fingers down from below your kneecap. Find that dip, come to the outside. And again, it's probably going to be a little bit tender, pressing in and circling. And you can even do a few minutes each direction, then you pause, go in the opposite direction. Okay, awesome. I just wanted to show you that before we wrapped up. And so with the yin and the yang symbol, I express my sincere appreciation for you joining me for this class. I hope you found it beneficial, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and B, I hope you have some great digestion today and every day. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next class. Bye-bye.